What's the most effed up thing you've done for money? Not safe for work. Hey guys, welcome back to the internet. So, there's a lot of wild responses for this one. I've tried not to pull the ones that are too not safe for work, but just so you know, it might get a little ugly. So a friend of mine, who is now a Marine, wanted to punch me in the face as hard as he could. So of course I said no, but then we agreed on the stomach for $30. It stung like crazy, but not enough to stop him from doing it again for another 10. Why would you do it a second time for less money? Are you trying to become the next Houdini? Once I sold my own blood to a local blood bank to buy gas to drive 2 hours to see my ex-girlfriend and win her back, who then canceled. Oh man, I can tell you from experience, you gotta know when to cut your losses when it comes to chasing after girls who want nothing to do with you. So I was at a family dinner, and my uncle complained that my aunt burnt the green beans. As a joke, he said he would pay anyone $50 to eat the whole bowl. He did not expect me to take him on the offer. This was a dinner bowl meant for like 14 people, so that night I didn't eat an actual dinner, just an obscene amount of green beans. Surprised I didn't barf, and I had interesting weird craps for the next 2 days. And you bet your A I got the money. Yeah, I know what he's talking about with the bathroom situation. I've had similar situations when I drink too many smoothies in a week. But there are much worse things you could eat for money. So back in the day, I had this friend. He was about 17 or 18 at the time. This friend was big into those freeiPod.com and freeXbox.com style sites from the early 2000s, where you had to get people to sign up for a free trial offers using a CC, and if you got enough friends, you could get a free iPod or Xbox or TV or computer. He was skeptical that it would work, so he tested by finding 5 real adults he knew to give it a try. And what do you know? He actually got his free iPod. But these sites were wise, and you often couldn't sign up for the same free trials repeatedly using the same person, even with different CCs. And only a few others were genuinely free or risk-free. So this friend needed to find another group of people willing to complete free trial offers. About this same time, Yahoo chat rooms were still a thing, as were Yahoo chat custom rooms. Obviously, that led to some pretty vile stuff. Daddies for daughters and similar, with people looking for underage girls or boys to cyber with, trade pics with, or even meet. This friend realized that most of these pervs were older, dumb, and horny. It wouldn't take much in the way of promising anything to get them to sign up for free trials. So this friend made a screen name, something like Lil Cabrera's girl, and posed as a 12 to 14-year-old girl in these chats. When dozens of men would immediately message my friend, in his best impersonation of a tween girl, would chat and weed out the ones who didn't seem serious, and focus on the ones who were persistent. He would chat with them for a bit, 5 or 10 minutes, and then ask them to do him a favor. That favor, of course, was signing up for a free trial because I really need an iPod, hee. It worked. This friend ended up with a free iPod, free Xbox, free desktop PC, and free PC monitor. He then sold most of them for cash. Side note, one of these guys he talked to was so persistent about meeting his fake 13-year-old persona, he reported the guy, who provided his name, address, phone, pics, to the FBI, who came and took a statement from my friend because the person was a known offender. So basically you made money by working for the FBI and staging a To Catch a Predator episode. You know, the most mind-blowing thing to me in this entire story is that there were sites like this in the early 2000s where you could get free stuff and it wasn't a scam. Who knew? So I barely made rent and hadn't eaten in 3 days. It was a rough post-breakup year for me. Found an ad on Craigslist for some guy that was willing to pay someone to lock him in a cage and pee on him. $50 later, I had enough cheap noodles and sriracha to not go hungry for a while. Yeah, that's a little bit weird, I will admit that. I spent 5 years in China teaching ESL. In addition to the school I worked for, I took private students as well. One was a successful but bored plastic surgeon. 90% of his business was the same 3 surgeries, so he wanted to learn English to break up the tedium. He would call me at random times with little or no notice and ask if I wanted to come over and give him a lesson. So one night, he called me to come to his office. Very normal. But when I got there, the nurse was giving me booties and a hairnet and telling me to scrub my hands. Before I knew it, I was in the operating room giving an English lesson while he performed a nose job. I kid you not. I barely made it through. The surgery channel makes me lightheaded, and I was catching the live show. Pretty much scarred for life now. Edit. He wasn't performing surgeries on me, it was somebody else's nose job. I was just an observer. It was a violation of like all known procedures of sterility and cleanliness in the OR too. China is basically the Wild West. You know, some people like to listen to audiobooks while they drive, some people like to have their English teacher with them while they are performing surgery. You know, multitasking is usually more efficient, so. I was paid $3 to eat a lemon-scented wet nap. It was in high school, and I'm not proud. Also, I quickly discovered that lemon-scented did not translate to lemon-flavored. Yeah, I have to agree with this one. I'm sure I'm not the only one who's tried this, but back when I was a teenager, once I had a trip to the dentist, And the taste that's left in your mouth after the dentist is just so bad, and it's just so hard to get to go away. So I was taking a shower, and my shampoo smelled really good, so I was like, meh, I'll wash my mouth out with shampoo. But the smell just completely disappears once it's in your mouth, and it just tastes like regular old soap. So yeah, I had to learn all that the hard way. So I once was bored in my mid-20s, around 3 a.m., and I saw a gig on Craigslist. Turned out an escort needed a safe driver to get her to gigs. Not thinking too much of it, I contacted her and spent the rest of the morning driving her around. At one point, she came downstairs, came to my truck, handed me $20, and told me she needed more condoms. I was taken back, but I decided, what the heck. So I went to the local pharmacy, this was now almost 6 a.m., and bought 2 boxes of condoms for her. Went back, handed them off, then proceeded to wait for 2 more hours. She eventually came out. I drove her back home, where she paid me $150. It felt so wrong taking the money, knowing that she was getting railed for her money, then had to pay me. I took the money anyway, and she was pleased I was a pleasant young man/driver. One of the weirdest odd occurrences for me by far. I wonder if this is how Uber ended up getting started. I let a crawdad pinch my nipple. The effort was far stronger than I thought, and ended up drawing blood. I essentially had my nipple pierced for $1. Man, I never understand the people who are willing to give out money to people to hurt themselves. It's just such a weird thing for people to go after, you know? I sold a picture of my girlfriend's feet for $130 to one of her ex-coworkers. I asked her first, of course, but it still felt questionable. I just find it crazy that somebody would pay $130 just for a picture of some feet. Man, girls have it really easy on making money sometimes. Man, my dad is not going to like this video very much. Elementary school, I licked the janitor's mop for $2.35. And no, it's not a euphemism. I did it because that's how much 2 slices of pizza cost in the cafeteria. Well, hey, at least you got lunch. You got 2 slices of pizza with a side of janitor mop. I stuck my tongue to a pole in the middle of a northern Minnesota in winter for $5. That was never paid. I think I saw this in a movie once. Did somebody dare you to do this? So I let my brother run over my foot for a can of ravioli. There have been a lot of questionable trades in this thread, but how hungry did you have to be to go through with this? So when I was back in school, I had a good friend who was getting bullied quite badly. He was scared to stand up to the guy bullying him as well, and was quite small. He paid me the holy sum of a Mars bar to hit this bully around the back of the head with a fire extinguisher. Cue an unconscious 12-year-old and me getting a rather long suspension from school and interviewed by the police. I was such a douchebag back then. To clarify, we were all in the same year at school. I was just a bit of a loose cannon back then. As others have said, it wasn't a high-pitched ding sound like you'd expect, more of a dull thud. No lasting injuries or brain damage occurred. The guy I hit was a real nasty piece of work, but I agree I took it too far and genuinely felt guilty after. The Mars bar was pretty freaking epic. Sounds like he didn't even need any kind of incentive, he just wanted to do it. So I was a waiter at a restaurant with a prep line that had mayo on it. There was only one dish that used mayo that no one ordered, so this mayo would sit out all day and get this foul yellow skin. I bet a buddy $100 to eat the skin right before the shift started. I spooned off the whole bucket myself, and it was a heaping scoop. He powered through it, but not long after, he was absolutely green. We're still friends. You know, just because somebody offers you money to do something doesn't mean you have to do it. So I used to know a couple who ran an adult baby nursery. So I, female, was paid 25 quid an hour to dress up in cute, frilly outfits and spend time with adult men who wanted to be treated like babies. At one point, I spent an hour watching Thunderbirds episodes with a client. That was all he wanted to do. I personally don't consider it effed up, but I'm sure some people reading this might not know how to feel about it. Man, I think we're learning more about how messed up people can be from this video than we really want to. I answered a Craigslist ad to kick a guy in the balls and walk on him for $160. Liked the easy gig and the money. I made about 10K doing this afterwards and went to Europe for 2 months. Man, see, some people just know how to play the system, and you know, if it works and you're okay with it, then go right ahead. Honestly, it wasn't really that bad. Call me boring, but the most I made was $100 when someone in high school paid me to write their final paper. It wasn't even a hard paper to do. I guess she was just lazy. Anyways, I made her pay me half up front and half after she got a passing grade. Anyway, word got around and I ended up being paid to do small things like finish people's homework or write papers. Someone even paid me $50 to change the answers on their test to get at least a C, but no more than a B. I used to help one of our teachers grade papers and tests. They were actually pretty secretive about it, and I'm glad no adults found out because I would have been in a lot of trouble. Man, this is living the dream. Because, I mean, obviously you're smart enough that you're getting great grades. Plus, you're really popular because everyone can rely on you to do their homework. And you're making a bunch of money off of it. I mean, you're just winning all around. Surgically implanting a neodymium magnet into someone's fingers so they could sense magnetic fields. You know, there's probably a lot of professionals out there who are just like, I have no idea why you were asking me to do this, but you're paying me and I know how to do it, so why not? I was once paid $1 per second to lay face down in the snow, naked. I made $300 before my friends ran out of cash. Same group of fellows offered to pay me $500 to pepper spray me. I told them to make it $600 and don't tell me it's coming. Man, I made $900 off them idiots. Man, you really showed them. You must be pretty tough. I drank a glass of unknown liquids that friends made in 8th grade. Ended up getting jaundice 2 days later and full-on liver failure in the hospital for 2 weeks after that. So many things were added that the doctors couldn't identify the root cause, and I just had to wait it out. Or end up getting a liver transplant. But I earned 25 cents. Yeah, you know, I've mentioned turning a few of these things into businesses, but I wouldn't recommend continuing this one. My friend offered me 20 euros to have a staring competition with a hooker in Amsterdam. I went right up to the glass and stared at her for around 30 seconds before she opened the door and threw boiling water over me. She lost and I got the money. You know, this is one of those videos that I feel like we've been going on for an hour now, but it's probably only been like 10-15 minutes at most. Not necessarily effed up, but I recently made $300 by FedEx my poop to a university. I'm a twin, and it was for a study. My twin did the same. Oh, you know, the story of that really changed directions after that first sentence. Well, that's all for now. What about you guys? Have you ever done something weird or crazy for money? Anyways, I can't really think of anything I've ever done, but enjoy your Monday and have a good week.